Wednesday in Taiwan. Magandang hapon mga kababayan. Kayo po ay nanonood ng Kababayan LA, where today we are invading the kitchen. Like I said, this is the Yun Culinary here in Taiwan, in Taipei, where we are learning to cook delicious and different Taiwanese dishes. But before that, before I left LA, we had this conversation with a Kababayan Pride, a chef whose clients include Charlie Sheen. Let's watch this. Another Kababayan Pride, this time on the Kababayan Kitchen, and I'm talking about Khristianne. Hello and welcome to Kababayan LA.
Thank you.
First ever winner of ABC's The Taste. She is also a celebrity chef, has cooked for Charlie Sheen, James Cameron, Simon Fuller, and even the royal family in Saudi Arabia. Which came first, cooking for these celebrities or getting on the show?
Cooking for the celebrities, for sure.
How is it difficult to get a gig like that? First, to get into that.
It's very difficult, especially making the transition from a restaurant chef to a celebrity chef. I mean, you hold high standards, and of course, you know, confidentiality between client and chef. I mean, you hear the tabloids, you hear the news,
right.
So it's the trust that you have to bypass for you to pass the 30-day probationary period for you to be cooking some more.
And when you're there already cooking for them, how difficult is that?
Oh, it's very difficult. I mean, like, you get clients that are just so high in demand, and you don't have time to cook anything, you know, and they'll make the biggest requests, such as like fine wines from France, delivered that same day.
Oh, wow.
Or such as caviar. But you also get clients which is like, hey, can you pick up my kids from ballet class?
See?
Yes, but you can't say no.
Right,
you're part of the family now.
Right.
So we make it as smooth as possible.
And guess what? Thank you for visiting us on Kababayan LA. Here we are going to make you cook, and we're not going to request for fine wine and caviar. We're just going to do with, we're going to appreciate whatever it is that you're cooking for us. What are you cooking for us today?
I'm cooking chicken paillard, which is just a pounded chicken. Sounds fancy. With caper beurre blanc, which is a caper lemon butter sauce.
Okay. All right. So what do we need for that?
We need just pounded chicken breast. So just take chicken breast, butterfly it, pound it, put in some flour.
Okay.
We'll just take 2 of these. Smaller one. Of course, season. You know, a lot of people, they just don't season. They don't taste all the way. So the end result doesn't really taste much.
You season with salt.
I season with salt and pepper.
Okay. How do you do it in these days where people are so conscious about health, and they say, you know, too much salt is also not good?
Too much salt? See, this is my rule. You can always add more salt, but you can never take away salt. So tasting. So you add a little bit, taste, add a little bit,
yeah,
taste.
Perfect. Okay. And this one is, okay, and so you just fry it?
I like butter.
Okay.
So we're gonna
But you put a little bit of oil. What is that?
I put a little bit of oil and a little bit of butter because butter has milk solids, so it burns. So we're rising up the temperature of the oil.
Oh, okay.
And who doesn't love butter?
See, I didn't know that. Yeah, I love butter too.
And
I have a feeling it's going to smell heavenly in just a few minutes.
In just a few minutes, yeah, for sure.
Yes. Oh, you don't need to wait for the butter to just completely melt. Okay.
Because you don't want, you want to coat it, you want that creamy butter, not that burnt, nutty butter.
Okay. I didn't know that. A few times when
Because you were Filipino, we like it crispy.
Yes,
we like that caramelized color. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that Filipino. Your parents are both Filipino.
They are.
And you were actually born in the Philippines.
Born in the Philippines.
Moved here when you were 12. And when did you decide that you wanted to cook?
I decided when I was 14. You know, food was always big in my family. You know, my mom and dad split up when I was little, so food was just that nurturing warmth care that my mom brought on the table. So, you know, upon starting school here, you know, it felt just like so cold, and it's not like home in the Philippines where you enjoy the day.
Right.
In the kitchen is where, I mean, the kitchen's where the heart is.
Right.
You know, it's where the heart of the home is.
Yes.
So I always, you know, would just watch the cooking channels and be like, I want to do that.
Right.
I want to do that. But, you know, upon graduating, I asked my dad, like, this is what I want to do. And he goes, cook? There's no such thing as chefs in the Philippines. So he's like, you're going to be stuck in front of a stove. A cook?
Let's talk about that, because Filipinos don't quite distinguish the difference between a cook and a chef. What's the difference?
A cook is, you know,
someone who cooks.
Someone who cooks. It's not really a professional.
Right.
And, you know, you've just mastered working the line, meaning, you know, restaurant chef. A chef, you have to earn your rights. You know, like being a captain in like a police department.
Right.
You really have to earn it, and it was 7 years into it since, you know, I was called a chef.
And now your dad is like, you proved him wrong, because now...
Oh, yeah. Now he's all proud with his friends.
Yes, yes. And you even won that, I said earlier, a first ever winner of ABC's The Taste. And what I like about you in that show was then you actually cooked some Filipino dishes for them.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
Tell us about that.
One of the first challenges was to cook a comfort dish.
Okay.
Which I did twist on the... What is that coconut stew we have?
Oh, like gata.
Gata.
Yes,
which is coconut milk. So I took, you know, baby calamari, uni, king crab, and I put it with that, with, you know, the ginger,
with the gata,
with the garlic, and they tasted it, and I won the challenge.
Right.
But they questioned me. They said, why is this a comfort dish?
Yes.
And I explained, you know, coming from the Philippines,
yes,
you know, we're an archipelago. We have the freshest seafood.
Right.
So I remember my grandmother bringing in those seafood, and my mom just putting coconut milk and stewing it. So I said, you know, this is what's comforting to me. What's comforting to me might not be comforting to you.
Right. And what's not comforting to a lot of people is dinuguan, and you actually made something like that as well.
One of the challenges was to cook with offals, meaning, you know, like intestines, ears, and of course, I mean, we have all white French judges, European judges, so I had to make it appealing. Dinuguan, as you know, looks like nothing
it looks
appealing.
Like chocolate stew.
Yeah, chocolate stew.
Okay.
And so I had to mimic the flavors of dinuguan, but then again make it look appealing. So I fried the pork ear, and then the dinuguan, I stewed it in red wine with some shallots. And when they took a bite, I won that challenge.
So it's just tasting and tasting and tasting. When do we get to taste that?
This
What's
one
going
is
on
almost
right now?
done. So we're just browning the chicken. Put a little onion.
Okay.
Then just a little garlic. You know, a lot of my clients don't do a lot of garlic.
But garlic is good, right?
Garlic is good, but not when you're meeting with 20 other executives. It could be a little
Or if it's
offensive.
like a romantic date, you can
Not unless both of you are eating it. Yeah, that's the rule.
Okay. Do you have to wait for the onion to brown?
You want it to be translucent. So when you bite into it, it's a little sweet, and the garlic just...
Ooh, it smells so good. Okay, more seasoning.
More seasoning. Season as you go. And then we just add lemon slices to it.
Lemon slices.
Lemon slices, because we want to caramelize it too.
Yeah. I think I can cook this nuts.
There you can.
How long does it take to prepare?
Very easy. Few minutes.
Yeah. But we've been chatting too. That's why it's taking a while.
White wine.
Yeah.
And just a little bit more lemon juice.
All right.
Just let that cook in its own juices.
Okay. Well, maybe when we return on the show, that's when we get to try and taste the dish, along with the other celebrities' favorite dishes, your clients' favorite dishes, right? All right. That's when we return on the show.